So I thought if I messed this whole talk thing up, at least I wore the right shirt today. Thanks, Claire. So I guess the question people might be wondering about me is, how did a small farm like Glennwood, about 350 acres, 25 to 30 mares, how did they breed a Triple Crown winner? And only the 13th Triple Crown winner in history. So this is my part of that story. My dad is the breeder of Justify, owns Glenwood Farm in Kentucky, and I left a current investment banking about 10 years ago to come and help him with the horse business. And so here's my step-by-step guide to how to do that. First, quit your job, your really good job in investment banking in London. Just quit that, even though you worked really hard. You did a master's degree, you worked your butt off, interview after interview to get a job. Just quit that. That's done. Step number two, break up with your boyfriend. Never mind that it's been 5 years. Enough about that. Step number 3, leave the country. No, not just the country, leave the continent. Put a big pond, i.e. an ocean, between you, your ex job, your friends, your support system. Leave that and move to a country that you've never lived in before, and you don't have any friends. And here's the important bit. Just make sure you have no precise idea exactly what you're gonna do when you get there. So that's my recipe. I had this whole sound thing sorted out on my phone, sort of a crashing sound, like boom. So this was my jumping off the cliff moment in life, where I wasn't really happy with what I was doing, and I wanted to do something I was passionate about. So I said, F-bomb it, I'm gonna quit this, and I'm gonna go, help my dad with the horse business, and I'll figure it out along the way. And so that's what I did. And I think that brings me to something about Justify's story. I don't think Justify would have happened if my dad and I weren't really passionate about the horse. First and foremost, not anything else but the horse, And I think to be a leader in anything in life, any business, it helps to start with being super passionate about what you do and surround yourself with people that'll support you along the way. People that kind of get, at least broadly, where you want to go and support you, and steer as far away as the people who at best don't support you or don't get what you're trying to do or don't care, and steer very clear from the people who actively seem to want to thwart you, because that does happen, unfortunately. And so sometimes people would ask me, why did you quit investment banking to go into the horse business? Are you crazy? I'm like, yeah, maybe. But I would say, I wanted to help my dad breed a champion one day. And people would laugh, they would think I was joking, and I would smile because I thought, well, I wasn't joking, but it does sound a little bit crazy from their point of view. I'm sure it's a pretty big goal, and like that's really gonna happen. And so I would smile. Anyway, that brings me back to passion. So I had passion and also a purpose, and then Justify came along. And to create a horse like Justify, it's not just a mating idea, which was a big part of my role in that. It takes, it's the mating. Yes, that's a big part of it, but then it's also the environment that he was raised in, so the land, and also the team that helps raise the horse. It doesn't just happen in a vacuum. You need a good team around you to help raise that horse, keep it alive first and foremost, because everybody knows in the horse business, that as soon as they're born, the first thing they start trying to do is kill themselves or injure themselves or do anything but make it to the races. And so you need a really good team around you to do that. And just before the Derby, I had a very vivid moment of thinking about the team. The team at Glenwood, very loyal, hardworking, passionate about the horses, and I was so happy to have that team in place at that time when Justify went across the finish line in front and he won it. I just thought, what a great thing to have such a strong team. Also, nobody looking for credit or anything like that, just so happy. And one of our guys said to me that when Justify won the Derby, his wife said to him, "Why are you crying? You're supposed to be happy." And I knew exactly what he was feeling. not having shed any tears myself, but that sense of achievement, that feeling of the fruits of your labor, that it was all worthwhile, all that work, and just that huge sense of accomplishment against all the odds for a horse that bred at Glennwood, a small little farm that a lot of people hadn't heard of, had won the Derby. And that's before he went on and did everything else that he did. And so, anyways, it was super exciting to have the team so proud of this achievement and be able to share it with them. So this is a panel about women in racing, so I thought I would talk a little bit about that because people ask me, what is it like to be a woman in this business? And you would think that having done a career in investment banking, which is very male-dominated, that I would be accustomed to, have developed a thick skin already and that I would be used to that. But in actual fact, although there weren't a lot of senior women in my business when I did investment banking, and there was always talk of pay differentials, I never really felt that day to day. I felt it was a very fair environment. People were supportive. I never really felt a big male-female divide. So it wasn't until I came to Kentucky and dove headlong into horse racing that I started to see that there can be that. And so my story early on when I first came to Kentucky and went to Glennwood, we had a few different people working for us, and one of the things that I understood later, they would refer to me as the daughter. Capital T, capital D, what does that mean? Why is the daughter a dirty word? Well, it means the owner's daughter. She doesn't know anything. She's just here because, her dad owns the joint, and so we don't really have to listen to her. That's kind of what the daughter meant, I suppose. The other one that I really loved was, she's crazy. Of course, they would never say this to my face, but she's crazy today. And I'd be like, yeah, okay. And there was one time I went up to Churchill Downs to see a horse that my dad owned being dynamic scoped. So when I got up there and I poked my head in the stall, the vet was in there putting all the equipment on, and I said, hi, I'm Tanya Gunther, and he said, oh, I know. And that's all he said, and he kept doing what he was doing. And I'm like, okay, this should be interesting. And then he finished what he was doing, and he said, yeah, we had a former employee of yours who used to work for us. And I said, yeah, I know. And I said nothing else. And then he said, yeah, it didn't work out and blah, 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 yada, 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 as to why. And I'm like, well, you could have called me for a reference. And he said, well, yeah, but I heard you were the crazy daughter. And so I laughed. And anyways, at this point I developed a bit of a thicker skin. So it didn't really bother me. I just thought it was kind of humorous. And so was it easy? Was it easy being a woman in racing? No. Is it supposed to be easy? I don't think so. I'm one of the proponents of the Triple Crown staying the way it is. Derby 2 weeks, Preakness 3 weeks, Belmont, and I think it should stay like that. I don't think it should be easy. I think the horses that win the Triple Crown, they're amongst the best horses in the world in history. And so it should not be diluted by making it easier. And so I think any big success, you don't want it to be easy. And I guess I'm a bit like that. I like to do hard work along the way and feel that sense of accomplishment that only comes from hard work and it being difficult. I don't think it should be easy. When I was preparing for this conference, I did a little research on women in racing, and I came across this article. It was published in May 2017, so not that long ago, by BBC Sport. And it said that men and women coming out of college, women actually had an edge on men, 70 to 30, in terms of them going into horses. But that a lot of women felt that later on, as they wanted to progress, there was what they called career stagnation. And the comments around that were that they felt patronized, that people looked down, didn't take them seriously when they talked. There's no boys network, and I can say tick, yeah, I know all about that. Oh, banter, a lot of, uncomfortable banter. I'm actually okay with the F-bomb words, but anyway, tick again, that does exist in horse racing. But I think there are always going to be hurdles. And for me, I just looked at it like, well, I know that succeeding in this business has nothing to do with being a woman or a man, and that people are not always going to be supporting you to get to that bigger place, and you're going to have to earn that support. And so it's not going to be easy. But when people talk like that, it's insecurities. It's nothing about you. And so just work harder. And so that's what I did, and I stopped listening to that stuff, and it didn't bother me anymore. But it does exist, and it is what it is. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the passion, and that you don't go into it, looking for glory, looking for success, financial success or otherwise. I think if you want to do something, you want to be good at it, go at it, go do something you're passionate about, because although there are elements of glory, I guess, in horse racing, when you win a big race at the highest level, and there can be some financial success that flows with that, but it shouldn't be about that first and foremost. And I guess an example, or kind of more of an indication of what it can be about, is, was present for me in the last couple of weeks of April before the Derby. You would think, we had 2 horses that were running in the Derby, Vino Rosso, Justify. We had female family of Good Magic as well, half sister to the Dam, and so forth. So you would think it would be all smiles and happiness, and you'd be going to the track, going to dinners, being all excited. But that really, we were excited, very excited, but really my days were about car hearts, fatigue and stress. We had a couple of difficult foalings, and so I spent the last couple of weeks before the Derby going in and out of the vet clinic with not just any horses, but horses related to these Derby participants. So it was pretty stressful. I guess the good thing is that one very important horse, they figured out what was wrong, and he was fine. Unfortunately, the other foal, was a very difficult foaling. I've never had one like it, where you are trying very hard to get that foal out and you can't. And finally you do, but they have issues and you have to run them to the clinic. And actually this horse had a congenital issue, and she was never gonna make it. But you put not only your mental energy into it, but your physical energy into it. Like, my whole body hurt for couple of days afterwards, and I try to keep pretty fit. So for every muscle in my body to feel like I'd been doing a rowing workout, being sore, it was incredible. And that foal didn't make it, an American Pharaoh foal. And so, you spend a lot of your time trying to breed champions, but there are always these moments of reality that keep you down to earth and make you realize that when you've bred a good horse, or you own a good horse, even a healthy horse, you need to enjoy it, because there are a lot more of these other times when you're brought back down to earth. And so what does it take to breed a Triple Crown winner? I would say passion, perseverance, a lot of perseverance and conviction in what you're doing. And I'm fortunate in that I'm very passionate about the horses and the business, and even if we hadn't succeeded in breeding a Triple Crown winner, which was against all odds and not something that you can actually really plan for, I have enjoyed all the hard work along the way. It's been tremendous, to have various little successes along the way, and to have it culminate with Justify this year. It's just not something you can describe in words, although I've tried, but I just can't. It's hard to get your head around. And so I would like to perhaps close with a couple of quotes from Winston Churchill that sort of struck a chord in me. And one is that success is the ability to fail. I might get this a bit wrong. It's the ability to fail and fail again and not lose your enthusiasm. And so I think that speaks to these issues that sometimes you encounter in the foaling barn or on the racetrack or whatever. And the other one is never quit something that you can't spend a day not thinking about. And for me, that is the horses. I don't think a day goes by that I don't think about them. And I feel very lucky for that. Thank you.